Tuning you in now to the LBX Show with your hosts, Christine Buhr and Brandon Willey. Brought to you by the LBX Collective, your community to connect, engage, and inspire.
Well, hey, hi.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah, Merry Christmas. It's been a hot minute since I've been back here on the stage with you.
Yeah.
Hi. You're looking kind of spiffy and all like festive right now.
Yeah. Look, I've got a little Hawaiian Santa shirt. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love
Getting
it.
into the holiday spirit.
I did my tree. I got my tree. So I'm hoping Santa's going to bring me some really good treats this Christmas. You know,
That's a very nice tree. It looks like you took a spruce top and you just cut the top of a spruce off, and so
it's like Christmas chic. Is that how they call it?
Christmas chic? I don't know. I have no idea.
So
I'm wearing a Hawaiian Santa shirt. That's not.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't do chic.
I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, the only thing I wish is that it was real and it actually had a really nice evergreen smell. That would just make my day. But
that is nice. Yeah.
I'll just pretend. And maybe go get a Christmas latte later, and that should fill my soul. So anyway, okay. So today on the show, this is exciting. We have a special guest. So Sherry Howell is going to be joining us to gab about the FEC Summit that's coming up next year and share all the details of that. It sounds super exciting, and I can't wait to learn a little bit more about it. Also on the show today, we're going to have our regular observations. Plus, we're going to have an open-end chat with Kevin Williams, Arcade Corner with Adam Pratt, and Pro Tips with Chuck DeMonte. So lots of good things to roll you properly into the Christmas season today.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get into it with some news you should know.
Awesome.
All right. So first up, I feel like I've got to talk about the LBX Galaxy. Every week we keep getting a few new people joining, and the conversations are definitely beginning to happen. Some sharing is going on, and definitely love a lot of the media and tips. There's some tech tips that Lewis has been putting in as well from Alpha Omega Amusements. And those are super helpful, and those are going into our media stream. And so anyway, if you haven't joined the LBX Galaxy yet, you definitely want to go and do it. If you're watching this, you can scan this QR code, and that'll take you to the sign up form to join the LBX Galaxy. And if you are listening, then just go to lbxgalaxy.com and definitely get in there and join. More and more people are getting in there, and that means that we're just going to have more conversation coming in the new year. So definitely pop in there and check that out. All right. Next up, we've got two events coming up in January. The first one is EAG. That's the Entertainment Attractions and Gaming Expo happening in London. And it's also co-located with the Social Immersive Entertainment Expo, which is being organized and put on by our friend Kevin Williams. And I get to be a speaker as well. And I'll be talking about utilization of social entertainment, and it'll be a panel. So I'm not the only one talking, but I will be on a panel there. And Kevin will be moderating that panel, and it's going to be a good time. And then we'll have the FEC Summit 2025, which is happening January 19th to the 21st in New Orleans. This is with IAAPA, and this is why we have Sherry joining us today to talk a little bit more about the FEC Summit. And so let's do some guest gab with Sherry Howell. All right, Sherry, welcome. And why? So are we like, okay, who's Sherry Howell? Sherry is the, what is your title at Centeredge? Because I know you're the
IAAPA. So many things, but the last few years it's been the brand engagement director.
Brand engagement director. Okay, all right. And she's also the FEC Summit, or the FEC Committee Chair for IAAPA. And so she is intimately familiar with what's happening at the FEC Summit. So Sherry, tell us a little bit about what we can expect here.
Yeah, so we're really, really excited to be heading to New Orleans for IAAPA FEC Summit. It's 2.5 days of lots of good variety, networking with your peers. We've got a great keynote speaker, which I can talk about in a little bit, and then panels and content, really trying to help the owners, the operators, the GMs in your facilities lead better, manage better, operate better. So I couldn't be more excited for the tours and just the entire program is just really top notch this year. So I'm excited.
That's awesome. And even though it's called FEC Summit, it's not just for family entertainment center operators, right? Who's the ideal audience to come to the FEC Summit?
Yeah, so the owners and the managers of any location-based entertainment. So whether you are multi-attraction, whether you are, an escape room or virtual reality, or just anyone in the entertainment space, small, medium, even large, you would definitely benefit. I mean, we've got a top-notch keynote speaker, Jerry O'Brien, who worked with Procter and Gamble, Red Robin. I mean, he's going to teach us what the big brands know. So there's something for anyone that can come and learn. So it's for those owners, those operators that want to be with their peers.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because there's a tour involved as well, right? Because this is one of the things that I'm most I always get really excited about going and checking out new facilities. And I know that there's a number of things like when we think of New Orleans, we think of just Bourbon Street and some of, and good Cajun food and the music and everything else. But I mean, it's all that, right? But there's also, there's people that live there and they like family entertainment and location-based entertainment as well. So what are some of the other things that we are going to go check out?
Yeah, so this year's tours are really cool because there's actually not a ton of our, what you would think of family or location-based entertainment. So we really got creative this year in finding, we visited 24 locations back in the spring. And and so we landed upon NOLA Motorsports as one of our tours. And this is a really unique concept because they built this giant racetrack to coax races to come, like Formula One races to come and actually race. I guess I don't want to keep saying race, but that's what they do.
Practice? Can they practice there?
Yeah, well, and they were actually, I mean, they have a beautiful viewing and event space. I mean, all of this, and what, so they built it for that purpose. But what they found was they didn't get that kind of traffic. So they were like, well, what are we going to do now? So they have had to pivot and reimagine their business. They have go-karts, and now they're an entertainment space that is adding more attractions, and so they're really learning from these experiences, and now they're a location-based entertainment center. So I really think that's a unique one.
Are we going to get a chance to race on the track?
I mean, I'll buy you a ticket for sure.
Okay, all right.
Oh, it would have been cool if there was a competition. Could have won some medals.
Yeah, exactly.
Still time to plan something.
Not known for being the best driver, so I probably won't participate in that.
Well, no, that's great. Then I'd love to race you. That'd be great.
Yeah, Brandon loves to win.
Yeah, we're also going to see Mardi Gras World. It's a staple icon in New Orleans. They build all of the floats. They're a long-time IAAPA member. They build a lot of the floats for parades and, of course, Mardi Gras. So we're going to have one of our receptions there. That's going to be a really neat experience. You can do a behind-the-scenes tour. And then we're going to go to a multi-attraction entertainment venue that's been open, I think, about a year, but has been in several locations in the New Orleans and Metairie area, called Game on Social. So we'll Game on Social Hub. So we'll get to go there as well. So lots of great tours.
That's awesome. Mardi Gras World is super cool. It's also super creepy. Depending on like you're walking through that. I don't want to give away too much because it's like, but it could be, you could easily do a horror movie in the Mardi Gras house. It definitely is super creepy.
Oh boy.
Although I will say, I don't know if we're going to, hopefully we're going to have a little reception in like the area where the house, like the house and the trees and the water, like that is one of the coolest themed spaces, event spaces I've ever been in. So I'm super excited that we're going to Mardi Gras World because that part of it is actually really pretty cool. Agreed.
Yeah, they've got an event space that you feel like you're in front of an antebellum mansion. It's
neat.
Yeah, it's super well themed. Anyway, if you want to experience it, you have to come to the FEC Summit. So yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, what else do we need to know about? What else does everybody need to know about the FEC Summit? What can we?
So, like I said, we've got Jerry O'Brien. He's the founder of What the Big Brands Know. He's going to take us all through his framework for influence and how to stand out in a crowded marketplace. When we've talked to operators over the last year. That's what you told us that you wanted, was how do we stand out? How do we compete? And we're going to learn exactly how to do that. One of the things we were really focused on this year is to bring that practical component in so that you can know exactly what to do, what to take back. And Jerry's going to lead us through a workshop on that first full day of the session. And so there's lots of good practical component there, plus networking, plus lunches, plus getting to see the tours. Jerry actually did an interview yesterday with Scott Weiss, who's our MC and works on the IAAPA team. That you can find if you go to the IAAPA HQ YouTube channel. You can see that video and get a feel for Jerry, his style, and what he's bringing to us at the big brands know. And then day 2, we're getting operators just like you. They're going to talk to you about profitability, about, and leading you through some discussions, profitability, food and beverage, maybe some leadership. Just some really good nuts and bolts materials that owners and operators need to take their businesses to the next level. So we couldn't be more excited. And then we'll finish up with tours and another reception so that y'all have plenty of opportunity to meet each other, learn from each other, connect, which is, again, what you said you wanted. So couldn't be happier.
That's awesome. Well, we have a little 30-second bumper video that IAAPA has put together. It is not available on the website yet. We did run this on the show last week, but if you didn't get a chance to watch it, let's play it real quickly here, and then we can, and then we'll ask a couple of final questions, and we'll wrap up. All right.
Stand out in a crowded market. Become the #1 choice among your competitors at IAAPA FEC Summit 2025. Find new inspiration in the big, easy. Learn from thought-provoking industry trailblazers. Gain VIP access you can only experience on IAAPA Edu Tours, and elevate your business by connecting with industry professionals. Be the clear choice among your competitors, and bring valuable insights back to your facility. Register now for IAAPA FEC Summit 2025.
All right. So speaking of registering, where do you go and register? And there's I think we have an early bird extension, right?
Yes. So the early bird rate goes from now until December the 30th. That's also the same date as the reduced rate for the room block. So definitely you want to register before there to take advantage of those price breaks. Right at the IAAPA website /FEC Summit, you'll want to register. But if you need help, Howell at CenteredgeSoftware.com, just send me a note and I'll send you a link.
All right, awesome. Well, Sherry, thank you so much for coming on, talk to us about FEC Summit. I'm super excited for it. I love New Orleans, and just love hanging out with all of our friends that are part of this industry. So. Thank you so much, Sherry.
Yeah,
it was great to have you
Christmas.
on.
Oh, I did come in my best.
Jingle a little bit, like shake, because you got the little bells. There we go.
Little elf, little elfie.
Have a great holiday, you guys.
All right, bye,
Bye. Merry Christmas.
All right. Well, that was awesome.
Yeah, that looks great. I haven't been to New Orleans in so long. It reminds me of like beignets and coffee and all the fun things. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about going either a day early or staying an extra day just to be able to get to hang out in New Orleans a little bit longer. So it's one of my favorite cities. It actually is my favorite city in the U.S. So I gotta get some extra time.
Yeah, you gotta do it. Yeah, that's the thing. Like we get all these great opportunities to travel with our jobs and stuff, and so why not add an extra day on so you can take a little personal time. I love it. That's really cool. Right on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna pop in some observations, but I've got a couple of things to talk about. But I feel like you have something big to talk about as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to hold back the tears. No. So yeah, it's been interesting. I know I haven't been on the show for a little while. I've had a lot going on in my life, and I've decided to make some adjustments, I guess, let's say. So I've made some new choices and I'm going to start pursuing a different career path. So I have purchased a franchise up here in Canada called FS8. It's a new Pilates brand under the F45 brand. And I purchased that and another one called Vora. So a couple of them. And I just decided to open those up and spend some time focusing on that. And just because it's such a large project and undertaking right now, I'm going to be stepping away from the LBX Collective. So it's sad and it's been heartbreaking to really have to consider that, but I got to kind of do what's best for me right now. So that's sort of what I've decided. But my gosh, I have so many fond memories and it's been such a wonderful experience. I'm going to truly miss coming on the show and hanging out with you and, learning all about our industry. And, I'm still going to keep my fingers in it and keep my toe dipped into the water. So you never know what might happen later down the road. But for now, just going to take a little bit of a fork in the road and try something different.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been, it's been an amazing journey with you. And I know our friendship isn't going to stop just because you're not coming, because we're not co-hosting a show together. So, I'm excited for you and your future and what you're doing up there in Calgary. And for maybe just touch on a little bit of your background, people who might think that this is a weird U-turn for you. You do have some background in franchising and also in the health and wellness industry.
Sure. Yeah, no, I have a really strong background in beauty. Like we used to be franchisees of the Body Shop, so the hair and skincare company. And really that's where I got my roots in entrepreneurship. So I'm very familiar with the environment. And, there's things I like about franchises and things I don't like, but in this case, I really like it. The other thing that's really cool about this is that I'm the first franchisee to bring this brand to Canada, and I'll have the first store open, which is going to be really interesting and fun to do. But I mean, just beyond the franchising, I've also been, one of my other passions is fitness. I've done bodybuilding and I've done a lot of competitions, so bikini competitions, and it's another passion of mine. And so the Pilates really kind of layered into this and it fit right on top of everything that I'm doing. So I'm excited to pursue this and just kind of see what other opportunities this could potentially open up for me as well. So so it's not like a derail or totally like off left center. Do you know what I mean? It's always kind of been there in the background and always been another passion of mine.
Yeah, well, we do know that this industry has the tendency to pull people back in. So, I know a good friend of ours, Barry Zellickson, he's the producer over and creator of Fun Across America. He had a big Thrill Factory, was a big FEC that he had sold a few years back. And, he had gone away from the industry a little bit and then and then came back in. And he does also have franchises. He has some food and beverage franchises. And so anyway, I know we're going to stay in touch and you're not going anywhere, at least as far as I'm concerned, but we'll maybe see you back in the industry.
Oh, probably. I just need a little bit of time to get myself organized here. And then maybe 6 months from now, I'll be like, okay, I got this licked and I'm ready. But
yeah. Well, opening up multiple franchises is, it doesn't, even if it's a franchise, it's going to be an enormous amount of work. So you have to focus on that for sure.
And one of the really cool things actually that I'll mention last is that the Vora franchise, it's a different style of Pilates and it's more of an immersive experience, which is cool because everything that I've learned in this industry about immersive experices really applies to what that studio is going to be all about. I'm super excited to open that one, but that'll be a year out yet. But I'll have to share details when I do it and just keep everybody up to date.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, you're still here for this show, so let's dive in. There's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, and most of them are timely. So that's why I just felt like we should talk about this now. Other than this one was cool. This is like a little feel-good story. This is about the world's smallest arcade machine. And so a college student in London, Ontario, she took a shot at breaking a unique world record. So she built the tiniest arcade machine ever. So she's holding that in her hands. So her name is Victoria Korhonen. And she's an electromechanical engineering student at Fanshawe College. And she unveiled her creation last Tuesday, which is a miniature replica of the classic game Pong that actually fits in the palm of your hand, as you can see in this picture if you're watching. But if you're not, it's really like literally tiny. It's like she's holding it. It's like the main face is probably about as big as her thumb. And so the unofficial Guinness World Record measurement is just 64 millimeters tall, 26 millimeters wide and 30 millimeters deep. And her machine beats the current record holder by a few millimeters, which is crazy because I didn't actually even know that there was somebody else who had built a small arcade. But apparently she actually had to build it so small in order to beat that record. And she was inspired basically by breaking the small scale record. She spent 6 months designing and building the fully functional arcade. So it is actually fully functioning. And she just said size is something that's cool to me. And she just explained she printed, wired, and programmed every part of the machine from the Pong game itself. So she actually programmed a custom Pong game and then the little tiny paddle mechanics. So it actually does work. These are some of what I'm showing here. Is pictures of some prototypes that she went through. And also ultimately, it's will take a couple of months for Guinness World Records to review the documentation. A couple of months, but unofficially, right now, it has been flagged as the world's smallest functioning arcade. So I thought that one was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty neat, actually. So are your thumbs too big to play the game, though? Do you need special tools to press the buttons?
I know. That's because like they are actually like twisty paddles, and when you look at the pictures, I mean, it's pretty crazy actually how small those are. So anyway, I don't know. I feel like you'd have to use tweezers or something to play.
Yeah, super cool though. Super cool.
Yeah. So that was the smallest. We also have the biggest. So a life-size Monopoly game has come to Colorado. So basically this has been transformed into an immersive experience called Monopoly Life-Sized Travel Edition. And it's now open at the DCPA Off Center. It's a weird name for a location, but it is located in Denver. And it's the first ever US version of this attraction. And it runs through February 9th and basically offers a really cool twist. So this isn't just like the Monopoly game. So you're actually not moving from one space to the next. This is actually like a blend of escape room, adventure rooms, puzzle rooms, like those, all those things with Monopoly infused. So basically they roll the dice and then the staff, you can see here, there's like a staff guy at a podium. They basically tell you to go into different themed rooms and each one represents a property or space on the board. And the teams face the puzzles and the challenges. And if they can do it, then if they win, then they earn a chance to buy the property or build houses or hotels or even potentially escape from jail. So this is Off Center's creative producer. So this is like an entertainment venue. Says the experience taps into the nostalgia of Monopoly while offering a modern, interactive way to connect and have fun. So they have teams up to 6 people. It's a 70-minute competition and or 70-minute experience. The winner wins bragging rights, a photo with a winner's plaque, a free cookie. I don't know why you get a cookie, but you get a cookie, and discounts at the on-site Top Hat bar. So they have a bar, of course, because it's you got to have that social experience after you're done playing. And they I think they're looking at doing this and moving this around. I just feel like this is cool. A lot of work for something so temporary.
Yeah. I remember hearing this coming out though quite a while ago and that they were moving it around. But I think this kind of aligns with what we talk about all the time and about the repeatability of it. Like you're going to saturate the market. So many people are going to come so many times and then it's going to kind of lose its fizzle. But if you're moving it to different cities, then suddenly it makes sense and you can really get a lot of play and value out of what you've created. So in my mind, I don't think that it's so terrible that it's just temporary.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with that. I think that what I would love to see is it run through April or something. I mean, it literally just opened and it's running through February 9th. Right. So it's like really just 2 months that it's open. That to me just feels a little bit short, but at least get 3 months, maybe 6 months out of it. And then move it to the next space. Because I do agree with you. Something like this is going to have a limited span of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I missed that. You're right. I think even a 6-month term could potentially be a good option. And, if I was in their shoes, I'd probably have multiple of them and do one in Denver, one in New York or something like that. So I can move them as they kind of, they waned in their, interests. It waned. So you had some flexibility there. But that looks super cool. I like what they've done with it.
Yeah, I thought it was a creative way to play Monopoly, right? Have all the different little challenge games and puzzle rooms and everything else that you've got to solve. I thought that was a very creative.
But I have to be honest, like the prize, meh. I want a shirt. I won Monopoly.
Yeah, something like that.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
Or, you know, a
hey,
thumb, I don't know, a Monopoly piece with my name on it. I'm not really sure, but
yeah,
it needs to get something a little better.
yeah, something a little better. But yeah, you know what? You get a cookie. So there you go.
Okay, all right. Well, no arguing with that. Who doesn't love cookies?
Yeah. All right. Well, that is it for news you should know. And coming up, we'll have Kevin Williams here in just a bit.
Awesome.
Intercard is the only cashless system designed, developed, and manufactured all under one roof. They introduced cashless technology to the amusement industry and have been leading the way for over 30 years. Cashless systems from Intercard increase customer spending, guest satisfaction, and boost revenues by up to 30%. Intercard is so proud to be serving the amusement industry, and if you aren't already part of their global family of customers, they hope you will become one soon. All right, so this week we have Kevin Williams on, and he's going to talk about the latest openings and closings. So let's hear from Kevin Williams and open and shut.
A big hello to everyone during this festive period. Just before Christmas, we record the last of the open and shuts. And as always, it is a crowded one, as has become expected. It's getting out of control a little bit. So anyway, let me jump straight in. And first off, we have a new competitive socializing facility in the UK, Rumble Room. It's a little bit of everything. You've got the shuffleboard and the arcade, the beer pong and the pool table. It's interesting from this perspective that the company has thrown the doors open and they're rolling it out. There is a possibility that this is the beginning of a chain of stores, as we always say, with the first openings of a particular new brand. Gamesland in Kuwait, traveling from one side of the world to the other. This is quite a large indoor theme park that is being operated by this group. It's aimed at a younger audience, so it's got the go-karting, it's got the virtual reality, the amusement, but it's also looking at younger players with soft play and activities. It'd be interesting from the perspective here to see how this modern take on what I would call a MU, or mixed-use leisure entertainment, aimed at the younger audience, so an FEC style, goes down with the audience in this particular territory. Then we jump all the way over to Belgium, and this is a nice one that we get to see the transition from a traditional arcade within a theme park. The original facility here, the holiday park, has always had an arcade. It was run by a particular company. They have then handed this over to the Game Town franchise facilities, and they have remodeled and redecorated the facility. So it's a redevelopment rather than a new opening. But again, it shows the need to keep fresh and active with your design. Chuck E. Cheese has parachuted into a new location in Buffalo. An empty retail unit has been turned into one of their newer versions of the Chuck E. Cheese franchise with the climbing frame operation. I'm not sure if this particular site has actually got the trampoline addition to it. It wasn't reported. Chuck E. Cheese has been in the news. They have been actively touting for franchisees in other territories, and it was announced that they have actually partnered with an agent to look for locations in the United Kingdom. So the UK will be getting their taste of the mouse quite soon. Topgolf, always in the news. Interesting development here at the Mississippi location, brand new site, and this brand new site has the addition of the mini golf concept that is being rolled out across certain of the Topgolf openings. Developed by Greenspan, well known for their mini golf development for a number of companies. It is interesting to see mini golf going into the Topgolf, if you know anything about the history of the founders behind Topgolf and how they left the operation to go away and create Putt Shack. It's kind of going complete circle now that the Topgolf management suddenly thinks that it's a good idea to have mini golf in their mix of entertainment. Topgolf also threw the doors open to a brand new site in California. This is a relatively large site compared to their normal location, and it's much more heavier on the mixed-use entertainment side as well as the shooting range and the F&B. One of the things to also mark out is that Topgolf have added an augmented reality game, licensed game to their shooting game experience based on the Sonic the Hedgehog property. Interesting that they would pick a children's video game character to do a licensing agreement. I can't really see the target age group being the ones hitting the golf balls down the shooting range, though maybe they're going for the recognition factor rather than targeting the audience. But, you know, we're up to 107 Topgolf facilities out there, so they are in the process of keeping the brand fresh. And this large location also includes some of their simulator golf bays. So this really is an example of a Topgolf facility that has a bit of everything, more than just the traditional. Talking about golf, and the phrase that you're going to be hearing me use next door to Phygital is tech infused. And we've just had the announcement of the opening days for TGL, which is a golfing league using PGA stars within an indoor environment, shooting against one of the largest simulator golf screens in the business. And this is a audience-based competition or tournament or league. And it's also being streamed through ESPN Zone. So this really is a Phygital example. It's tech-infused golf. The shooting green, or the putting green, sorry, can be controlled, its undulations, through special technology. They can print up onto the projection screen any of the golf courses, and it allows the participants to compete in tournaments. This Florida location has gone through the ringer a bit. Their original dome-based facility suffered a power outage, was damaged, and so they've now moved into a brand new purpose-built location. And I wouldn't be surprised that the Sophie Center in Florida also gets replicated in other locations if this new tournament takes off as much as many people are speculating. Well, now that Bolero is under the Lucky Strikes banner, and one of the Lucky Strikes entertainment facilities through its doors open in California. This is the new interpretation of the Lucky Strikes boutique bowling experience, now representing the operation. It has 22 bowling lanes. It has a very high cocktail and food and bev offering, really pushing the competitive socializing or social entertainment mix that we're seeing with these type of venues. A new mini golf operation is throwing its hat into the ring. This is, Nebraska hasn't got that many competitive socializing venues, so this is a new shot in the dark. Fat Putters, great name. Is part of a chain. They have a couple of facilities out in that locality, and this 11,000 square foot site will comprise 9 holes or courses, which are heavily themed in the mini golf, mini interpretation kind of approach here. It's also, along with the food, the beverage, and the mini golf, they're also going to have some golf simulators. This is a trend that we're seeing a lot of now with these kinds of venues, where they're rolling in a golf simulator, a couple of bays, along with the primary entertainment offering. Then into the racing scene, and a lot of racing simulator sites have decided to throw their hats in the ring. Scotland is about to get Project Portal. I think the doors have actually opened on this site. So it's virtual reality racing simulators with some video games. We also have Raceline in Ohio. Again, racing simulators, esports with some F&B, some bar capabilities for the social aspects. This site is also targeting very heavily the watch party kind of experience, where you go to the facility to watch races taking place, as well as taking part in computer game racing. Ray's Arcade, interesting one. This is in Bangkok, and from the information I received, it is clear that they have taken a page out of F1 Arcade and created their interpretation of this. Simulators, but with a very high quality bar and food offering, really aiming for the social, live DJs. I think this will be a mix that we're going to see. Thailand entering this because of the throughput and the high disposable income of their audience there, but I wouldn't be surprised to see other competitors developing their F1 Arcade interpretations the more we find out that this is proving popular with the audience. Time Zone, Indonesia rolled out a brand new facility. And Time Zone in Australia rolled out a new facility. They're up to 91 locations under their chain, including their Strike bowling property, really motoring along within their territories there: India, Indonesia, Vietnam, Australia, New Zealand. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see this particular brand moving further afield as they get their feet under the table. It's a long-established arcade chain. It wrote the book on a number of the applications that we now see most family entertainment amusement sites employing. And, it's clear to see that the Time Zone brand is moving more and more and more towards the mule kind of approach than the FEC kind of approach. Jumping back to Western in the UK, and we have a social entertainment facility opening up. Small scale, but still bringing food, drink, and social entertainment capabilities, pool tables, axe throwing, augmented reality darts. A new one for me, I hadn't come across the uniquely named Flying Squirrel Sports Chain. They are really an active entertainment facility, trampolines, but they also include climbing walls, and they have a cafe F&B component to that. I'm not sure how much of this F&B is aimed at the parents waiting for their charges to finish their entertainment. But anyway, I am led to believe that there are 9 locations under this chain, and it's still showing that active entertainment has a strong following internationally. Dave & Buster's have refurbished their New York facility near Times Square. This particular site, it's very well known to have been a little bit grotty and a little bit tired, so it has got a major injection in the arm. Some refurbishment has taken place, including the addition of the competitive social bay branding to this site, and so they have put in the shuffleboards, the AR darts, and the arena multiplayer immersive entertainment enclosure. This is a high foot traffic location, and it will be fascinating to see how the competitive socializing addition to this Dave & Buster's boosts their revenue. Eric's Retro Arcade, again in New York, but on the outskirts. Really, it's a retro bar. 1970s and 80s pinball and arcade, all of the classic machines with a little bit of a bar area that I'm led to believe, but this is a labor of love by a local entrepreneur. We wish them a lot of luck with their opening and moving forward. I know they've had their soft opening, and I think they're now fully opened at this point. Our friends at 810 Billiards and Bowling, They are the boutique approach. Their Florida site, brand new Florida site, has the axe throwing from Lasertronic. It has the darts, along with the boutique bowling and the amusement and the F&B. And this chain is going from strength to strength as they bask in the popularity of boutique bowling. And to round up the openings with the closings, some good news here. A facility that closed down back in June has reopened in a new location. Jungle George's had to relocate from the site that they were in to go into a larger facility. I wasn't given the reasons why they had to make the move in Indianapolis. I will be in Indianapolis in a couple of months' time, so I will try and at least pop into this site and some of the other sites in the growing area. But along with the indoor inflatables and the trampoline sides, they've also got some mini golf and a space for the younger players. So it is a full family entertainment venue. And then if we're going to talk about shuts, we should really look at an abandonment. And we're lucky enough to have someone brave enough to walk around Fukushima recently, just seeing how the devastation post the earthquake, tidal wave, and nuclear disaster has impacted the areas. All these areas were abandoned in a matter of hours after the quake and the meltdown. And they managed to pop their heads into the Sega Sonic world. And the dust-covered abandoned machines look very apocalyptic. I wonder how long it will be before we can report that facility will reopen. Anyway, that's it from me. That's a quick rundown. Any questions or any corrections, please hit me up on email. And it just leaves me to wish you all the very best for the festive season. Have a good one.
Yeah, how about that Sonic, the Sega Sonic world?
Whoa.
Super creepy, right? Like we were talking about like horror movie stuff, but the Mardi Gras world, man.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate.
Oh no, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's I mean, yeah, I'm sure there was some insurance that covers it, but nothing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like the momentum is so lost, and rebuilding that is such a heartbreaker. Oh
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm so sad for them. God.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I thought what was interesting, and we Kevin and I had a chance to talk about this a little bit on the sound off that's actually coming up on Tuesday after the show, but Topgolf adding the mini golf now outside of the Topgolf facility. And it's interesting because it really is like taking a shot across the bow at Pop Stroke.
For sure it is. But I mean, they are obviously recognizing that it's a huge source of competition and they have to modify what they're doing. So do you know what? In my opinion, good for them. Like good for them for being competitive and fighting back about that, right? And I mean, the other thing I was just thinking is Atomic Golf in Vegas, and I don't know how they're doing, but they've put so many new cool features in that Topgolf just had to start innovating and putting different things in. So I'm glad to see this happening.
Yeah. Now, the one addition that just I don't fully understand is that they put in some of their swing suites, so those indoor golf bays and simulator bays. I don't get that one as much, because you like literally already doing a driving range and chipping and everything else. You're going to go and would you rather do that like with real balls like out into the space, or would you rather do it in one of their bays? And so I think that's the one that I didn't fully understand. Mini golf makes a lot of sense, not necessarily in Minnesota or Missouri, but the indoor swing suites was a little bit strange, especially since they're only adding a couple of them.
And they didn't offer any reason as to why they were providing that.
No, I mean, and that's part of their tech. I mean, the swing suites is a Topgolf thing as well. But it's just weird that they combined the two into the same venue. But we'll see. Like it makes it again an easy thing to drop into some extra space that they may have already had.
Totally, and get some good testing data and stuff out of that too. Yeah, you never know. Yeah. Interesting.
All right. Well, we are going to continue our show, but first, hear another word from one of our sponsors.
If you run a location-based entertainment brand and want to attract more visitors, check out Radius. They use real-time location data and customized marketing strategies to help brands like yours stand out. Radius can boost your foot traffic and build a loyal customer base. Plus, they're offering a complimentary local market analysis to show you exactly how they can help you grow. Curious? Visit radius.co and ask about your free market analysis. That's RAYDIUS.co.
All right. So next up, we have Adam Pratt with Arcade Corner.
Greetings, it's Adam with ArcadeHeroes.com for the LBX Collective and the Arcade Corner. And happy holidays. This will be the last of the year for what we're doing. And so we'll see you on the other side of 2024, I guess you'd say, or we'll see you in 2025, whatever. Anyways, continuing on with what I've been doing the past few weeks, might as well continue discussing IAAPA dates as best as I've been able to discover them. I have added a lot more to the list than what I discussed in weeks prior, but let's just jump right into it. And so we have Ace Amusement, which is a Chinese company that's been growing in prevalence in the industry. As last IAAPA 2023, they had a booth for the first time that I recall seeing, and then this year they had an even bigger booth. And of course, a lot of their games have been picked up by different companies within the industry, including Coastal Amusements and Amusement Source International. And so aside from companies like that carrying their product, all of the games that were at their booth, such as Fast Racing, Fierce Chase, Russian Catch, Skull of Shadow, Splash Fun, and Super Drill, are all available. But as far as I know, you have to buy direct from Ace over in China. And so if you've already dealt with Chinese companies like that before, then you probably know what you're doing there. Otherwise, I've never done that myself before, so I'm not sure how the process works. If you can work with a distributor who makes it easy, or if Ace has a salesperson that can help you get stuff through customs, or if you have to buy a minimum number, no clue. But either way, their games are available. I haven't heard anything on Adrenaline Amusements, no updates there as far as their Duck Derby Pump and Race, but the rest of the games will be available as they've been out for a while. Allen One also, I think I've mentioned this before, both of their 2 and 3 player models of Asteroids Recharge are shipping, but Avian Nights is likely March. And they will have a new game to unveil at Amusement Expo 2025. And so be looking for that. American Pinball, this is one that I added to the list from last time. They didn't introduce anything new at the show, although I just realized I forgot to put the Polycade on here, as they are representing the commercial version of Polycade if you want to grab that for your location. But otherwise, all their pinball machines have been available for a little while now, but I'm sure they'll have something new and available next year in amongst pinball machines. Amusement Source International, as far as I'm also aware, all of their games are shipping now, and I think I discussed them last time. They also occasionally carry Ace Amusement games like the Skull of Shadow, but they carry some equipment from other Chinese manufacturers as well. And Amiro USA, most of the stuff that they showed off is shipping. There's still a couple of things I'm not sure about, like Crazy Toy Jr. and Talking Tom, but like the Star Wars coin pusher, that should be shipping out. Bandai Namco Amusements, I also kept trying to get a hold of somebody there to find out when certain things are shipping, but don't have any updates, although one of my readers did tell me that they were talking with a Betson rep, and Betson was saying that the Taiko no Tatsujin Kitty Ride will not be available. I don't know what the story is behind that, but hopefully once I get a hold of someone at Namco can figure out what that will be like. Otherwise, I know there's a lot of hype behind the Taiko no Tatsujin rhythm arcade game where you're hitting the drums. You probably saw that there, or maybe you played it. Fun time. Coastal Amusements, they did introduce a few different games. I can't remember if I mentioned them last time, but most of their stuff will be shipping out next spring. including the new model Break the Plate, Claw Frenzy, Double Play, Claws, Level Up, and the Wave Riders Extreme. And just making some additional tweaks, but a lot of those games have been out there testing and just fine-tuning them, polishing them up. DOF Robotics had their AIQ kiosk, where I know Kevin Williams had taken some photos that did some AI adaptations, putting his face into different scenes. Unfortunately, I missed that one, as well as I didn't miss Angry Birds Fury Road, the first arcade game from DOF Robotics. But I'm also not sure when either of those will be shipping. I assume, if not already, then probably here within the next month or two. Elot and Benchmark Games and Coast to Coast Entertainment, all of their games are shipping now. I think I mentioned them last time. They did introduce the Popeye Boxer and the Popeye Dizzy Divers coin pusher. So those are available. Here's one that I added that I should have had on previously, and that's Exa Arcadia. And so they're a company based out of Tokyo, but actually most of their staff is American. A lot of them just live over there in Tokyo. But they always have a lot of new games to introduce because of their system where the games come on cartridges and you can swap them out easily, and the PC that they have handles up to 4 at a time. Although at the show they were showing off more games where they were suggesting just running one game at a time in a cabinet, as that's less confusing to consumers. But as you can see from the list, almost everything there, all the bolded games are ones that were introduced at the show, or it was the first time they appeared at IAAPA, and quite a few on their list. But probably the biggest one that had a lot of attention was this ARC 32 Japanese style, what they call candy cabinet. And the ones at the show had a base which would raise them up so they could work more as stand-up machines. But without that riser, then they'd be sit down just like you'd see in Japan. But this is the first time that I've ever seen a Japanese candy cabinet made available worldwide. And it's been available since, I think they said July. And they're already selling hundreds of units. And they've seen, from this show, they saw, they said 80% of their inquiries into new cabinets were for these ARC 32s. And so there's pretty strong demand for having these style of cabinets. The cool thing is you can change the monitor orientation, just like on the ARC 1, which is the American style upright that they also had there and has been out for a while. You can take the monitor either from horizontal mode and flip it to the vertical, just like you see there, and vice versa. But most of the games that they showed there are shipping out sometime in 2025. They haven't given dates yet. They don't tend to do that until the game's ready to go. But there were a few games like the Jitsu Squad featuring the Samurai Pizza Cats and FEC Exa label that are available now. And I believe a lot of these titles, like fighting games and shoot 'em up games, will be available within the first quarter of 2025. And I know they will have some new cool stuff at Amusement Expo 2025. So next up are indie games. And so there were a few of these were at the show, but there are a couple that were not at the show, but I'll mention them anyways. But there was a small booth that had Armed and Gelatinous by 3 Flip Studios and Kung Fu Kickball by a company called Whale Food. Both of those have been shipping for a while. Very unique games coming upright 4-player cabinets. The Armed and Gelatinous looks just like a Konami cabinet from the 90s, but without all the scuffs that one would have these days. The Food Flight, they were at IAAPA 2023 and even won a Brass Ring Award. They weren't there with the game this year, but I did meet with the team there, and we had dinner and discuss stuff. So that game is still in development. They're just still working out some kinks and such. Keller Queen Arcade was at the Primetime Amusements booth, and that's been out for 10 years now. Nova Blast cabinet available over at the Unico USA. That was also a Japanese style metal cabinet, which has been made available for US customers. Just started shipping recently. But you can put any old JAMA or even a JVS game into those. JVS would be like Taito Type X2 and things like that. But pretty versatile cabinet, but much smaller than the like the ARC 32s that you see up there. Perfect Pour wasn't at IAAPA. They wanted to be, and if they had, then people would have been able to see what inspired the Icy Slush Rush by Baytech. But I do have it on good word that there's going to be quite an interesting update to this Perfect Pour game. Now, Perfect Pour itself will be shipping in February, but the update to it, which is going to be pretty cool, is going to be coming sometime, maybe by Amusement Expo. And then Sub Soccer Arcade was also at the Primetime Amusements booth, and that's available. We had Jersey Jack Pinball with the introduction of Pinball XP, and first time at IAAPA they had Avatar. Pinball XP is a project they've been working with Creative Works and really making it a spectacle for FECs, but also adding a bunch of redemption features and cameras that can detect where the ball goes to figure out the scoring. So very interesting there. Already mentioned LAI Games. I guess I should have included this in the indie games, but Monkey Splash Studios has Chef It Up, which will be available sometime next year. And I think I mentioned this before, but everybody who asked me what was the most innovative thing you saw at the show, and it was Chef It Up. That was very unique cooking game. Also mentioned Night Heron. I guess technically they would also be an indie game company with their Kung Fu Panda the Warriors Gauntlet VR game. Raw Thrills also mentioned previously. The chapters for Godzilla Kaiju Wars VR will be available next month, but the software update that was at IAAPA for NBA Superstars is available now. So if you have an NBA Superstars machine, you'll want to make sure it's connected to the internet and update that, because it'll make it earn better with the new software. Also mentioned Sega Amusements. I haven't heard any updates on any of their content. I'm sorry, just racing through here to make sure I fit all the time. Step Revolution, which does Step Maniacs. They had a new SD or standard model there. That's shipping now. It's like the original standard model, but it comes with a 55-inch HD monitor. Sturm Pinball also added this, where they introduced Metallica Remastered. From what I played, a very enjoyable game and better than the original one, which was nice. And all of their games are also available and shipping now. Touch Magics, I think I mentioned them with their Minions, Bullseye Mania. Eunice, I've been asking for updates on when their stuff is shipping. I haven't gotten an answer yet, unfortunately. And then last but not least, we have Yuto Games, which is a Chinese company where they had a few titles like Commando Sniper 3, Ocean Warriors, which Ocean Warriors was very interesting, very cool. Fishing game but you're looking through like a sniper scope or a harpoon sniper scope. Those are all available too. So yeah, that gets us through what time we have allotted to us for the what's shipping there. Again, happy holidays to everybody, and whatever holiday that you celebrate, and Happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2025.
Well, that you're muted.
I've done that. Like,
I know, never get used to it, right?
I know. Well, so thank you, Adam, for doing that rundown for us. And one of the things I'm still just super excited about is Avian Nights from Alan One. I loved the wacky aspect of playing Joust back in the day, and so I'm excited to have like a new modernized version. And I'm just a big Alan One fan as well. But he talked a little bit about some of the independent games and the indie games. Yeah. And what I thought I'd just mentioned here, because we don't talk about indie games too often, but he mentioned Armed and Gelatinous, he mentioned Killer Queen, so those are some of the other ones, Galactic Battleground. And there's actually a guy I ran into. They had a small little booth. There's like a hole in the wall at IAAPA, basically. Like it was near the arcades, but it wasn't in the arcade game area, but it's like near that. And I walked by them, and like I stopped because they had a couple of cool looking games, and one of them was Armed and Gelatinous there. And one of the guys there was Joe Wagner, and he is with a site called indiearcadewave.com. And so if you go to his site, indiearcadewave.com, and actually I can share my screen here, and we can actually take a look at it real quick. But basically, you can go and connect with the creators of all the different indie arcade games that are out there. So here's Armed and Gelatinous, Death Ball, Galactic Battleground, which is actually where Joe Wagner works. So he works for Slackers, and he's part of this team here that makes Galactic Battleground, the Food Fight Frenzy. Here's Killer Queen, and you can't go and just buy them directly here, but you could go and click, and then it says buy now. And then it takes you down to a form where you can actually fill out, and then it goes and sends an email to the creator of the game, and you guys can get connected there. So, a lot of these independent game developers, they're not working through a distributor, right? So anyway, I just thought it was probably a good thing to mention here. So it's indiearcadewave.com.
Yeah, that's really, really awesome. And I was really happy to hear Adam give us an update on Food Flight, because we saw it at IAAPA previously and hadn't had a chance, like they weren't on the floor this year. So I'm glad that they're still, taking a crack at it and trying to get that game rolling. It was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that was it. So if you want to connect with Joe Wagner, you can find him on LinkedIn, or just go to indiearcadewave.com and go to the contact section, and you'll be able to get a chance to connect with him. If you want to get some really interesting, innovative games in your facility, it could be a fun thing to do. So, all right. That being said, let's hear from Chuck DeMonte for some promo pro tips.
Hello and welcome to Promo Pro Tips with Chuck DeMonte. That's me. And today I want to talk about using data to enhance your marketing strategies. So this is a little bit more of an in-depth, high-level strategy, right? It could be a little more difficult to pull off, potentially, with some lack of resource and a little bit of knowledge. But if you give yourself some time and sort of listen to the tips carefully, you could definitely pull this off, and it will definitely improve your marketing. So there are many ways to do this. There are three things. When I thought about discussing this topic, there are three things that came to mind. And one is mobile ID reports. Two is using your segmenting your emails to communicate with people properly through different sort of parts of the funnel, or based on their data, communicate with them in a certain way with email. And other ways, which I'll explain a little bit further in depth. And the third way is using your first party data, right, that you have, and upload that into things like Meta, so you can retarget people with paid advertising. Okay. All three amazing ways to improve your marketing. Okay. So let's start with mobile ID reports. So we internally use a tool called Placer AI. Now, there are a lot of tools out there. I shouldn't say a lot, but there are other tools out there similar to this. And literally what this is doing is letting us look at mobile ID reports, meaning we're tracking your mobile phone. Maybe not the coolest personally, but good for businesses, right? It's anonymized. I can't see any data and who the phone, whose mobile phone it is and their number and anything like that. I can just basically see demographics of them. I can look at your specific location, understand who comes into your location, where are they coming from in terms of zip codes, maybe where have they gone prior to, and other places that they go that sort of match with who has come to your location, right? And so the way we use this, it helps us to understand two things. One, where to place our marketing dollars, right? But the second thing is also if our marketing dollars are working, understand the return on investment, right? Because I could see, okay, if I'm targeting a certain area or a certain zip code, is the foot traffic coming from those areas increasing, right? Which would in turn tell us if our marketing is working, okay? So mobile ID reports, it's, I can go, I'm really just scratching the surface on it right now. You can go really, really deep with that. They are expensive tools to get for sure, right? But if you're big enough and you have the resources, it's very possibly worth looking into, using something like that. It has helped us improve our marketing efforts for our clients tremendously, right? Mobile ID reports. That's the first one. The second one would be emails, right? So hopefully, we always find it best when family entertainment centers, if they have, attractions, people are signing waivers, that's always the easiest sort of low-hanging fruit, because you're getting people to give you their data and upload, basically go into your marketing emails and potential SMS, and they're giving you your birthdays and other information, right? So if you don't have that, you want to find other ways to capture your customers' information, right? Legally and have them opt in. But then you want to make sure you're segmenting that data. where are they from? What are their age? When did they last come into your location? What is their birthday and any other their children's birthdays? If it's if you're skewing younger for families, or if you're older, when their birthday, offering them a birthday to come in, for an event with their friends or whatever. But if you have this information, you could speak to them and communicate with them a little better. Say they haven't been in a year, right? Shoot them an email and give them a discount to come back in, right? Or they have a child whose birthday is coming up. You should have email automations basically that are triggered based on when their or their child's birthday is, to help you hopefully book a birthday party, right? So using this data, there's other ways to get creative with this, but using that data to communicate with people in emails based on where they are in the funnel, right? Is really going to improve your marketing and improve your return visitors, and potentially even bring in new visitors. Maybe somebody signed up for your email newsletter to get something, or you have some sort of mechanism to get them to sign up, and they maybe never have been into your location, right? So getting new people to go into your location. So those are the first two ways: mobile ID, email segmentation, speaking to people at the right sort of time with the right communication. And then the third is similar, using that email or phone numbers or other data you have from these people and uploading this into Meta, okay? Now, the other thing is you don't even need the first-party data. Another way to use that is making sure you have the Meta pixel on your website, okay? What this is going to allow you to do is upload that data, right, into Meta, and then if people just visiting your website, you could retarget them with ads for bookings, birthday bookings, events, tickets, discounts, whatever, right? It becomes a much warmer audience when you are using this, right? Now, again, go back to what I was saying earlier. If you knew when somebody's birthday was, now you can send them a paid ad, not even email. They could see it in an email, they could see it in an SMS, and they could see a paid ad, right? Offering of them a discount or something. So that's really cool, right? So you could start, again, having multiple touch points with all this data. Super important. Now, another cool thing you could do when you upload this Meta data into Meta, you can create what's called the lookalike audiences, right? So Meta will go through and sort of look through this data you have and start to get an understanding of what do they have in common, what pages do they like, what is their age range, any data points that they have in them. They'll sort of look all that over and give you another similar audience that are just like these people, right? Now you have a brand new audience you could target at your local, in your local demographic, your local location, geographic location, with the same thing, booking tickets, birthdays, events, right? So those are really three great ways to improve your marketing. Again, a little bit higher level, once you're really running some in-depth marketing strategies, but they will, without a doubt, improve your marketing strategies and your return on investment. So hopefully that helps. Stay tuned next time when I get some more tips for you.
Intercard is the only cashless system designed, developed, and manufactured all under one roof. They introduced cashless technology to the amusement industry and have been leading the way for over 30 years. Cashless systems from Intercard increase customer spending, guest satisfaction, and boost revenues by up to 30%. Intercard is so proud to be serving the amusement industry, and if you aren't already part of their global family of customers, they hope you will become one soon. Wow, and just like that, that wraps up our show.
Oh my goodness. Boy, oh boy. Well, what a perfect one right before Christmas, and right before the New Year. So
yeah, the last one of the year. So just quickly for everybody, we will not have a show on the 29th, but we will be back, or I guess I will be back. The LBX show is, BW and Friends will be back on the 5th of January. And while we didn't have Chow Time with Dave Wallace this time, he has mentioned that we will definitely have a Chow Time with Dave Wallace on the 5th of January. So very excited to have him become a part of the show as well.
It's going to be great. Super. I look forward to watching.
All right. Awesome. Well, Christine, it's been an absolute amazing ride, as I mentioned before, and I am going to miss you on the show. And again, I know you're not going anywhere, but it's been absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for being my partner for so long. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's been such an amazing experience and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, learned so much, and we'll miss you terribly. So take care and good luck with everything. And I will be watching in the wings.
All right, awesome. All right, everybody. Well, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. We'll see you on the 5th and keep kicking ass.
Bye, guys.